think that across the board there should be equality for all. That's just should be a given, should not be a favor.
And lastly, for young women or even girls that are growing up right now, who obviously live in a world that's not always so kind to them or fair to them, what would you want them to know?
I would say believe in yourself, and if I can do it, you can do it. And we are all rooting for you. And women help women, but we also need men to help women, and that's a big part of my message.
Congratulations.
Item that you have.
Thank you so much. So obviously you just released your sequel to The Handmaid's Tale. I wonder, you wrote the original, I think 20, 30 years ago?
1985 it was published.
So was there any difficulty in kind of digging back into the story and kind of continuing it?
Well, there were some things I had to keep in mind, but obviously nothing so difficult that it stopped me.
And obviously, this is a glitz and glamour event. But I noticed that sometimes a lot of authors kind of like the privacy. How do you like the award shows and kind of being your own celebrity outlet?
Well, my publicist made me do it. What can I say?
That may be the best answer all day.
Todd, the A's publicist, you can't say no to him.
Well, I'm happy you're here. Well, my last question would be, there is a new...
the Vulcan mind meld, and then you can't resist.
Oh, I like that. Well, obviously, The Handmaid's Tale, the book and the show are so popular, but now there's like a young crop of women, teenagers and young adults, who are being inspired by you and your work. So can you just tell me how you feel about these young women being so inspired by you?
Well, it gives us some hope, doesn't it? Because unless young people get inspired, that's sort of it. And they're being inspired along several lines. One of them is the climate crisis that we are experiencing right now. And that's young people that started the Extinction Rebellion. And a lot of older people are being inspired by them. And the other area is the push for equality. And we did the launch of the Testaments with EqualityNow.com, which works around the world to make laws more equitable for women and girls.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
Okay. So obviously this is a night filled with glitz and glamour, but for a good cause. So can you just tell me how cool it is to be at an event that's celebrating so many wonderful women?
You know, I think women truly have been celebrating one another since the beginning of time. If you really think about the way we're geared, I believe what's beautiful about an event like this and the tradition of this event is the diversity, of the people, and really celebrating the power that each person is being honored, but all of us. It's shining light on just really what it is it's not angry, it's just very simple and honest and appreciative and celebratory. And it's about a woman, and all of her, the myriad of her capabilities, I should say.
And who are you looking forward to seeing the most tonight?
That young lady over there with the floral coat. I'm gonna wait in the wings.
I like that. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi.
So she's going to be good when I tell her I talk to you. So obviously you are here tonight, but can you talk about the importance of an event that has so much glitz and glamour, but it's also celebrating phenomenal women?
I mean, there's almost a sadness to the fact that these kind of events have to exist, and the fact that it shows that we are still not yet equal. But I'm so glad that they exist because it's going to help us push our way there. You know, women are still not recognized. You know, we sometimes even, so many directors don't make it into like the categories at the Oscars. There's so many times where we are still left behind, and so that's why these awards exist, because we are so underrepresented still at the top of Hollywood. And so I'm glad that this is happening, and I hope that it pushes through to show that we are all here, that it's not as bitchy an industry anymore, and we're not competitors any longer. We're here to be supportive of one another. We're a team, we're an army now, and I think Me Too and Time's Up really proved that. And honestly, even just since then, the energy at these things has changed, where it feels like so much more of a sisterhood, and I think that's really cool.
What's also interesting is that, obviously the Time's Up and Me Too, even last year there was a big kind of effort to recognize them, but then it's kind of like the talk about it.
We feel like the trend passed.
And I want to ask you about that. Has the trend passed, and what do we need to do about it?
I think it's definitely made a positive impact on the industry, but I do think it was treated a little bit like a fashion accessory by some, and those people are now going on to work with problematic Me Tooers. And I think that's stressful, and that's why it was so important that Tarana Burke was more recognized during that moment. Tarana Burke is the woman who started the Me Too movement. We think it was a bunch of Caucasian actresses, but she got hugely underrepresented because she's an African American woman who isn't in a Hollywood movie, and she is the one who's still continuing on to do the work and going to every single university and going to all of the women's centers and still talking about these things. So she is carrying that work on. I can only suggest that people follow the work of Tarana Burke to make sure that Me Too doesn't go away.
Well, lastly, anytime I'm on Twitter, you always get suggested about a tweet that I should see. You're always using your voice for positive things. What gives you...
That must be so annoying for you, sorry.
Because it's you, I enjoy it. So. But what gives you that confidence to speak out on issues and to speak your mind? And I guess what my perception is that you're not afraid.
I am entirely out of fucks to give, I'd say. That's probably what it is. I'm 30. I'm in my 30s. I'm 33 years old, and I'm too tired to try and placate anyone or mind my own business or be careful with my behaviour whatsoever. I just feel free, and I've realised that the only way that we're going to see change is not by being polite or well behaved, it's by getting in people's faces and just opening up honest discussions. So that's what I feel motivated constantly to do. It's just talk. Talk is so powerful, just owning up to things and talking about the things that happen to you, make other people open up about what's happened to them. It's incredibly powerful, and that's how I use my platform, because no one needs to hear about me. We need to hear about what's going on in the world.
Well, lots of people do love to hear from you and about you. So thank you so much for your time. It's my pleasure.
Jane for the women. Jane for the ladies. What for the ladies? Jane, my turn here. Jane, my turn. You talk with my person. Yes, Fonda. Jane, sit there. Jane.
Do you need book shoes? And of course, book shields. Yeah, exactly. It's an incredible woman who's spoken out. That's the biggest
Thank you so much. Thank you. Are we going this way? This way? I mean, but you know what I did? I let the good times roll. I let it
Yeah, go ahead and say hi.
I know we're with you. Die right now. Do you mind? No? Oh my God. Just
Yep, no problem, no problem.
Is going to, and I am too. I'm just totally figuring
What a coincidence, because you look fabulous. We're introducing Ava DuVernay.
Thank you. Stunning. Thank you, and congratulations.
Hello, baby. So, obviously, you are already a star in your own right. We all knew you, but you know, because of your, I guess, social activism, you've kind of gone to another hemisphere. So, kind of just talk about this last year and a half, 2 years, where you're a full-fledged, I don't even want to say celebrity, but just like superstar.
I don't know about that. No, I mean, it's been kind of crazy, to be honest. And unfair in a little bit of ways. I mean, I think it's, you know, we still have Colin Kaepernick who's not playing, and I did the same thing that he did in kneeling. So shout out to Colin Kaepernick, everything that he does. It's a strange world, but I feel like we all have a responsibility to make the world a better place in some way. So I feel like this is my lane to do that, and I try to do it passionately and do it loudly and get other people involved and try to have more of a motivating sort of experience for people and hopefully inspire them to do the same, because shit's whack and like we need to make it better. So this is the only way that we can do it.
So honestly, you were loud and yelling for equal pay for women's soccer. What do we need to do to get to that point to where men kind of realize, and I'm even talking about myself, realizing the value of women?
Well, I think it's sometimes it's like the concept of allyship people understand, but like really you need to put your own skin in the game. Like if it's hurting me, it should hurt you, or if it's, you know, something that I'm upset about, like take it on as something that's personal to you. That's not always as easy done as it is said, but I think it's really important once we start stepping outside of ourselves and seeing how much impact you could have for us, I could have for you, and vice versa. I think we start seeing that collective power be shared.
And lastly, you know, the funny thing to me is that it's kind of like the Tupac lyric. We are all just came from a woman, we were made from a woman, our sisters are women, yet men somehow still don't get that.
Yeah. I mean, I think I want to get really deep on it, like our whole culture and society is based on a patriarchal society, a white male patriarchal society. So I think in a lot of ways it's breaking down those barriers. It's actually having those conversations with people and breaking down how it's affecting not only women, but it's like the women are our mothers and our grandmothers and our sisters and our wives and all of that. So it ends up affecting everyone. And so to try to break down that argument for people and hopefully inspire them to get involved.
Thank you so much for the time. It was really cool talking with you.
I'm not like this. What does it mean for you?
There's Theron is over there, so
There's some things that can happen. You can do it the bottom line, understanding the collective power that we have. Understanding this sense of scarcity, like someone going to teach something that taking something from me is actually a completely false idea. And I'm seeing more of that, and it's really something. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So you are here presenting an award tonight. Can you tell me who you are presenting the award to, and how prepared are you for it?
I'm presenting an award to Margaret Atwood, and the magnitude of what that woman represents, I couldn't be not prepared because I just don't want to mess it up. I want her to feel honored. I want her to feel what she means to everyone and what she specifically means to me. So I'm prepared.
Well, you look prepared and you look great.
Thank you.
In terms of just the novel, obviously she just released the sequel. It's inspiring. It inspired women back then with the original novel, and now a new crop, a new generation is being inspired. How cool is it that she's able to kind of mind the gap with these age ranges?
I mean, I don't even understand how she does what she does. And the amazing thing is to be able to have that new audience, but it's not just the new audience. I have heard so many women, my mother's generation, everyone talking about returning to Margaret with this new book, The Testaments. And her ability to bring those multi-generations together is something that you don't really see often. And I just don't understand how she stands on the cutting edge of everything. She's just always on the forefront. And I need to talk to her to find out what's going on, you know what I mean?
Well, lastly, speaking of of generations, kind of making a pivot. I was watching This Is Us, and I saw somebody who kind of looked like you, but I think I'm on Sterling's side because he looks like he's up to no good.
Look. If I was in Sterling's family, I would be like, "What, you dating who?" You know. But it's really nice to be able to see his success, and I'm a very proud of him.
Amazing women.
That's awesome. And
I'm very happy that there's like a number of Women of the Year. Getting these like personal accolades.
I don't know where I see him going, and I think sometimes that can be dangerous because I have found in my own life that what I have achieved and what I can achieve is sometimes bigger than what I can dream. So I want the same for him.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your time. It was good seeing you again.
Good to see you too.
Thank you.
I mean, it's normal for me. I think that's how I've always been. I don't try to do anything different. I just try to be me. So naturally, I think I'm cool with it and like that is that role very well. I want to make it better instead of being after me. And even just now, and then a lot of responsibility to make more of that. But certainly for the next you just do it to have to. There's no other choice, now more than ever.
Look at Jane over this way. Are you?
Oh God, I mean, up, I guess. Maybe Trump laying down some watching threatening tweets. I was like,
because all of those things are so problematic in getting to the root of
no worries.
Well, I get to hang out with adults, which is, for a mom of two, a single mom of two, really nice. And I get to dress up, which, I'm usually in my sweatpants, cooking, some kind of a Trader Joe's frozen orange chicken dish. So this is a really nice treat for me.
The theme of this year's summit is Go Big. Who's somebody in your life that's been a woman and or event that made a huge impact for you to go big and make that moment where you needed to make change and want to make change?
I always go back to kind of like my young womanhood experience, and just the fact that I had an incredible mother who not only said these things but lived by example. And I saw a woman who got up every day and lived her life in the way that she told me to live my life. But seeing that example was really powerful for me. Seeing a woman who worked in an industry where women didn't really work, in construction at the time, and having meetings with like a room full of men, holding court. Like those were things that I remembered vividly as a young kid, and they really left a mark on me, and they made me feel like everything was possible.
For the next generation, what kind of advice do you have? What do you need to work on?
It's really refreshing. And I think my generation is constantly going, listen, and they're like, no, we're not. And it's so good, and there's definitely a social shift. I can hear it in their voices. It's just different, and so it's now up to us to support these movements to not go away, so that we can continue this conversation, because that's ultimately what's going to get to the root of the problem.
And how would you define a woman in 2019?
Strong, independent, powerful, not making them small.
So obviously you're having such a tremendous year. You're being honored tonight. Bombshell is coming out. You were honored by the American Cinematique Awards a couple of days ago. Can you just describe the awesome year you're having so far?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I'm super grateful. Yeah, I don't take any of this for granted. I've been on the other side of it, so I know how special this is. And making a film is really tedious, and it's a lot of time and energy that you have to put in towards something.
And you're always hoping at the end of that journey that people will tap into it the way you tapped into it, and that's what's happening for us right now, and I'm really grateful for that.
And tonight, so many tremendous women are being honored. I know you have your event tomorrow night. Can you just talk about the importance of giving back and then using your voice for good?
Yeah, I don't see an alternative. I feel like there is no alternative. We are all in this together, and until we kind of like speak up together and back each other and support each other, this is not, you can't take this journey on your own. And so many incredible women are doing that already. So if I can just support that, that feels like the right thing to do.
And lastly,
lastly.
And lastly, obviously, there's Oscar buzz around the movie. How do you feel about that? But also, why is it important that the story is told? Because there are a lot of Fox viewers who have already decided they may not want to watch it.
Or maybe Fox viewers will watch it because it's Megyn Kelly, and it's it's people that they know. And I think that the early buzz from this is saying that we really try to put a fair story forward, and really ultimately in our acknowledgement of maybe being liberal, we're saying that through our differences, we're acknowledging how important this story is, because ultimately this is a nonpartisan issue. Women should be able to go to work and feel safe, and that's ultimately what this story is about. It's not about the right or the left or about Fox or CNN. It's about women feeling safe. That's an important story to tell.
Thank you so much. Congrats on the debut.
Thank you. Good answer.
See you all over.
Hi, how are you? When did you realize you had a voice after being in the industry?
Oh my gosh, I would say it's 6. When I told my mom I didn't want to take guitar lessons anymore, and she said, cool, call your teacher and tell him you don't want to go. And I went, no, wait, that's your job. And she's like, no, you have a voice. Pick up the phone and tell him you're not coming anymore. And that's just
Oh, thank you. Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Sly. Your show was on Collab. I'm so excited about this. I'm making fashion. One of you look phenomenal. Known as the Rebel tonight. Do you believe that's because you've taken risks and taken unconventional roles in Hollywood?
I don't know if I'm the right person to answer that, because I'm a single mom of 2 and there's nothing rebellious about any of that. But I feel really great tonight. So I feel real responsible. Whatever I see, I really try to do that. But I mean, whether our reasons are the same doesn't matter to me. I just want to learn. How are you? Good.
So much. Thank you.
It's been an event that I've really tracked forever. I think I should be it's not something.
Chris is going to work looking. Good job.
Thank you.
One more back here, Ava. All the way to the right, Ava. Ava, one more time here to the right. And straight up.
Ava, look up a little bit.
Ava, turn it this way a little. Ava, one more time. Ava, for the ladies, right here for the ladies. Ava, to the right. Can I get eye contact?
And next to her.
And next to her, all the way down to the right. Thank you very much. Oh, I like that. Good one, Ava.
What can we expect from this next season of Project Runway?
Olivia, look up a little. Olivia. And then look up next to her. Olivia, look up.
Olivia, straight ahead. Thank you.
Can we get together? And look up a little. And one more back there.
Johanna, both of you. Olivia, both of you together at the same time.
Everybody. Olivia,
Thank you.
Thank you, Olivia.
Call one out. I think that what I will say is it's an inspiring time to be a woman. There are more of us.
Hey, Ava, can we ask you a
I
question?
can do it together. They're pulling me in. Okay.
Do you believe it'll ever be the norm to be a female director in Hollywood?
Will I ever be the norm? Probably not, because Hollywood was built for me not to be the norm. So I'll probably always be an outlier and other women like me. But every generation there'll be more and more. And so that's a good thing.
I'm sorry. It seems like with Me Too and Time Up last year, everybody was yelling about it, but it's kind of gone down this year. Can you just talk about the importance of that?
It hasn't gone down this year. You all have stopped covering it as much as you did when it was new. But the actions and the strategies are still the same. So I would ask you to think about why aren't you covering it in the same way?
Gender inequality has been a predominant issue in 2019 that we've been fighting. How do we need to keep fighting in 2020? How do we continue this? What do we got to do?
Step by step. Every movement is successful based on its consistency and its longevity. The civil rights movement was a 10-year movement. It wasn't just one speech, I Have a Dream or Selma. It was an ongoing struggle, just like LGBTQ rights is, just like women's rights is, just like Black Lives Matter is. We have to do it beyond the point where it's in the headlines. We have to do the real work. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.